Hello again, everyone. Edwin Murray back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Venus making a square opposition or inconjunct aspect to one's natal sun. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Venus, this could be about love, enjoyment, money, possessions, resources, one's values, one's self-worth, self-esteem, how one feels about oneself. And when transit Venus is basically making an adverse aspect to the natal sun, it's really, this could manifest in love, your enjoyment, your money, possessions, resources, your values, your self-worth, self-esteem, how you feel about yourself. Well, this might, for one thing, conflict with your life to some degree. It could be that maybe a lover maybe dominating your existence. Maybe it's hard for you to really do other things you want to do connected with your life. Say if your natal sun is an Aquarius, you might be, your basic character might be somebody that's very freedom oriented, very independent, and needs certain detachment, and it might be, Venus, this relationship might be making things difficult. Say if trans Venus is in Leo, it could be a very domineering lover that might be doing this, causing that conflict. It can be a situation. Remember that. I mean, the sun is also connected with our vitality and energy. And sometimes, I mean, when you have this transit occurring, this is something where you have where a lover, a relationship, it could be a significant friendship even, might be draining your energy and your vitality at this time. You might have difficulty at this time more so than usual enjoying, time with the biological father or children at this time. Whether it might be some situation where you might have work to do, or something career related, whatever it might be. Say if your natal sun is in Capricorn, your life might be such where you're dominated by your career ambitions, responsibilities, and you might be just having more difficulty than usual enjoying matters with your children, or really with the biological father at this time. If the transit Venus, say, is in Taurus, it might be, trying to, making money. You're making money doing, might be something Taurus related. It could be as a stockbroker, or, finance, banking, and for example, architecture, agriculture, and it might be conflicting, with your time, with your, children or your biological father, because of course that's associated with the sun. The sun is also connected with your basic one, so it could be a time too where you might be finding yourself either maybe having a hard time enjoying things associated with what you want. Maybe the money is not there to get the things that you want at this time. Say if your natal sun is in Libra, it could be, legal material that you want to buy, or there's some kind of, maybe something of an artistic nature, maybe even something connected with what I would consider Libra sport, like tennis, because that can involve balance and equilibrium, buying tennis rackets as an example, tennis shoes, um, maybe even entering some, you're in some, say, recreational local league, tennis club as an example. It could also be a time too where, looking at this as well, that it could be a monetary situation that might be not be so good, maybe conflicting with you taking action in certain situations. If it's a legal matter as an example, you might need money to do something, to file a lawsuit. Maybe you don't have, that money, in order to do so as an example. If Sagittarius is involved, the say if the natal sun is in Sagittarius, it could be something with higher education, something with college. taking a long distance journey, foreign travel. Um, and also, the sun is also associated with our drive and our motivation. So it might also be a time where we really might not, really feel, quite as driven or motivated at this time. Whether it's again, maybe it's something connected with a relationship that's driving you down, or there might be some self-esteem issues or some self-worth matters that might be, adversely affecting your drive and motivation at this point. The sun could also have a connection with the physical body. Yes, the ascendant is what dominates the appearance and physical body, but the sun can play a role in this as well. And it can be a situation where, you maybe there's something monetary that you want to spend on the physical body, your appearance, and maybe you're having difficulty in acquiring the funds in order to do so. Um, and the sun is also about, really shining as well. It's about where we want to stand out and shine and really. The thing is, with this now, we're trying to stand out, a certain field or what have you. This transit can be a time where, maybe, if there's issues going back to the self-worth and self-esteem thing, that might be maybe prohibiting you from doing something where you could strut your stuff basically and shine. Maybe the confidence is lacking as a result. Um, the sun, anatomically speaking, is connected with the heart, the upper back, the spine. So it can be a time too where if you're trying to, get the money, again going back to things connected with money, because Venus is associated with monetary matters, maybe there's a monetary situation that might be affecting you from taking care of these issues. If you do have some issues with what I just described, or maybe it's harder for you to enjoy life as a result at this time if you're having any issues, again, with the heart, the upper back, or the spine at this time. Um, and it can also be issues with the physical body in general, and depending on what sign it's in. If the natal sun is in Scorpio, say, it could be something with the colon or the bladder or the prostate, as an example. The sun is also associated with the ego. So there might be some issues, with a relationship, or it could be a significant friendship that might deal a negative blow to your ego at this time. The true self is also connected with the sun. In most cases, you're going to have a different ascendant or rising sign in contrast to your sun, so the sun would reflect the true self. Now, in the cases like the 1 in 12 probability that your sun is in the same sign as your ascendant, then things would be different, and your base, your true self, would be the same as the self that you're projecting outwardly. But the thing about it is, you might not really be enamored completely with who you truly are at this time in your basic character, which is the sun. And the sun is also about domination. Maybe there's too much enjoyment, in dominating something. Say, the sun is in Sagittarius, it might be sports, or you don't really have, feel like doing something where you can dominate at this time, or it might be harder to do so. Um, it might be a situation. The sun could also be connected, with somebody in authority or a dominant male figure in one's life. This could be the time where that connection might be a little bit strained and you don't really, quote unquote, love this person, maybe that as much as usual at this time, or enjoy your interaction with this person. Um, it can also be another way that this transit may manifest, again, going back to, it might be harder to, quote unquote, love your true self at this time. Now, if the sun, say your natal sun is in Pisces as an example, it might be, a person, might see yourself as passive or weak-willed, or somebody that's very gullible or impressionable, and those qualities or characteristics you may not exactly be enamored with at this time. And your relationships at this time, sadly, might have more of a conflict, with your life, more so than usual. Say if the natal sun is in Cancer, it could be a life of introversion, safety and security, home-related matters. Hold on a moment, people. And another thing is that, let's say if there might also be difficulty in finding enjoyment in matters connected with your basic wants. And say if the sun is in Aquarius, as an example, it could be things with astrology or astronomy, computers, electronics, even model rockets. In some cases, innovation, doing things, humanitarianism, altruistic actions. Um, Another thing too, it might be harder, excuse me, to express sentiments that are, connected with a father or a dominant male figure in your life scheme. Say if the transit Venus is in Aries, as an example, it could be very acrimonious or angry sentiments that might be difficult to express. Now, keep in mind that, okay, there might be, this transit occurs, in some cases there may be issues with the throat, the neck, the lower back, the kidneys, the thyroid, because those are things that are anatomically associated with Venus, and they may adversely affect your drive and your motivation, which is the sun. Now, say if the transit Venus is in Aquarius, as an example, it could be very sporadic or intermittent pain in one of those areas I talked about. And some cases, too, you might have more trouble, difficulty finding peace in your life. And this could be especially difficult if you have a sun in a more peaceful or tranquil sign like Taurus or Libra. As an example, if the natal sun is in Pisces, you might be driven toward more seclusion and isolation, and it might be harder to find that peace in doing so at this time, more so than usual. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learned saying stay well.